Hello, my lovely little gemstones, it's Afira, and today I'll be reading Swallow Your Pride, Chapter 2, by Quarantine Vibes. Warnings for this chapter, there's mentions of vomiting and scratching. Chapter 2, The Truth and the Rest comes out. Roman hated crying. It was strange, really. He knew that there was nothing degrading about having a good cry. Back when they had Disney nights, he was always the first to lend a shoulder to an over-emotional Patton or hand a subtle tissue to Virgil who'd nod his thanks. Roman wasn't crying now. Huddled on himself, watching every dirty thought literally spill out of him, somehow he wasn't. He hadn't cried since Thomas's last breakup. Not when the callback he worked so hard for was slashed away by his own doing. Not even when he realized that the people he relied on to have his back perhaps sometimes wouldn't. I don't deserve them. They were the thoughts that Roman had pushed down, far, far into the corner of his mind. They all came rushing to the surface, filling the room with crushing force. A blur of yellow was in front of him, gloved hands waving frantically, and Thomas was squeezing his eyes shut. Was he okay? Was Thomas okay? Had Roman hurt him somehow? I already have hurt him. Irredeemably. I should just make it easier on everyone, and... Roman choked. Slowly at first, but with rapidly gaining speed, the golden thread wound itself and shot back into Roman's chest. Roman watched, half in horror and half in fascination, as it writhed and coiled around itself, leaving the room in deafening silence. "Good job, Thomas. Remember to breathe. You did it," said Virgil, kneeling next to Thomas. Thomas had gone red in the face with concentration. The veins in his head popped out and stood stark against his skull. Roman looked up, catching on a bright red that stained the bottom lip of the side next to him. Roman reached out to wipe at it, but ended up falling forwards, despite already being on his knees. Logan yelped in surprise, catching Roman. Roman, are you all right?" Roman blinked. "Not the one that's bleeding," he slurred as a reply. Logan's eye widened slightly and he wiped his lip. Roman felt another hand on his shoulder. A yellow pupil bored into him. Roman, that wasn't... Janus chewed his bottom lip. "It was only supposed to be an innocent prank." "You're not good at those," Roman wanted to say, but didn't have the energy. "Are you feeling okay?" "No," came the resounding answer from Roman's mind. Roman felt sick. He felt sick. He felt he was going to be sick. Roman sunk out as quickly as he could. He stumbled when he hit the floor. His legs almost buckled, and he heard a sound come from the corner of the room. Roman ignored it, making a beeline for the bathroom. His knee hit the corner of a desk. Strange, he could normally navigate his room with his eyes closed, even in his disheveled state. He bumped another table on the way to the bathroom, flung open the toilet seat so harshly he was surprised the ceramic didn't shatter, and heaved, spattered, clumpy yellow into the bowl. He heaved again and again. Everything in his mind had come out, and now his stomach contents were following closely behind. Roman wanted to get rid of it. All of it. The feelings of his thoughts being ripped out of him. The ugly truths, the pathetic appearances he'd been keeping up. The sinking realization that if he was forced to tell the truth, then everything he had just said, everything he was trying to convince himself away from, all of it was true. All of it. All of it. He needed to flush the thoughts away and never think of them again. Roman scratched at his arms, digging his nails in deep so he could feel something that wasn't the macabre thought of himself coming undone and falling into a pile of murky gray thread. Roman braced himself against the seat. He wondered when his toilet freshener had gone missing. He wondered why he was tasting salt. Roman gagged, trying to physically get rid of the feeling that was welling up inside him. It wasn't working. Instead, he only spit out clear bile. "Stop it," Roman growled to himself. Since when did he get so pathetic? Nothing too terrible had even happened. He had no right to feel like this. Roman coughed, his stomach contracting painfully. He felt a strange, gentle rubbing sensation from between his shoulder blades. "Stop it," Roman commanded himself again, squeezing his eyes shut as another wave of nausea overwhelmed him. The strange sensation ceased immediately. This was stupid. "Stop!" Roman screamed, voice catching when he realized he was sobbing. "I'm not doing it anymore, Roman." Roman blinked, turning his head slowly until he met a pair of mismatched eyes, one brown and the other green. "Remus?" Remus nodded. "The one and unholy." "What are you doing here?" he asked, so stunned by the sudden appearance of his brother that, for a merciful moment, Roman's spiraling thoughts momentarily dissipated. "It is is my room, Roman. Love what you're doing with the place, though. Oh, he must have sunk into Remus's room by accident. He couldn't even be sick properly. The spiral resumed as Roman's shoulders shook silently a few times, before a sob ripped from his throat again. Remus assured frantically. I actually meant that. I always thought this place could do with a bit more vomit. Roman wanted to laugh at that. All that came out was a high keen that dissolved into more feeble sniffles. Remus shuffled on his knees, patting Roman's head awkwardly as Roman cried so hard he couldn't see straight. Roman felt guilt ram into him. He had stormed into Remus's room, spewed his guts in his bathroom, and was now a wailing mess on his floor. No one deserved to deal with that. I'm a wailing mess 3/4 of the time, Ro. I assure you I am fully equipped to deal with it. Roman looked up, wondering how much he had said out loud. How long had Remus even been there? How much had he heard? Just the caterwauling, Remus said, eyes softening when Roman groaned into his hands. And while I adore people dropping in unannounced, he waved in front of him, literally, dropping from the ceiling and splatting on the ground. He cackled. I'm sure you'd be more comfortable in your own room. Roman blinked slowly, but nodded. The horrible, awful feeling was still there, but lying in his bed sounded like heaven at the moment. Though he grimaced at his clothes. He didn't have the energy to sink himself out. Or change. But he needed to leave. His brother obviously didn't want to deal with him anymore, and he couldn't blame him. Remus rolled his eyes. Stop being dramatic, dork. Remus snapped, and Roman was instantly in a black t-shirt and maroon and black plaid pajama pants. He lunged for Roman's wrist, but held it with surprising care as they were transported into Roman's room. I'm coming with you. Thank you all so much for listening. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to make sure you don't miss the rest of this series. If you like what you hear and you want to read more, you can find the link to the author in the description. If you want to check out other podfics I've done, you can click on the playlist linked on the screen. See you next time!